For thus saith Yahweh, Behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. I have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, Gather ye together, and come against her, and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong, but I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry. The noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of a woman in her pangs.
The Iraqi parliament has a year ago ordered American forces to leave Iraq. The Iraqi prime minister has just ordered them from the prime minister's office to leave Iraq. And they say they will not leave. Well, what choice does that give the people of Iraq? The parliament wants them out. The prime minister's told them to go. The US says no. Well, what happens next? It's kind of obvious, you know. What is the purpose of the American forces in Syria? In an illegal, isolated, totally surrounded base. That's another Benghazi waiting to happen. And there are many other Benghazis that you could pick out from that graphic that you have just shown. And the point is, it doesn't achieve anything. This projection of American power is showing America's weakness, not its strength. And so I'm asking the American people and the British people as their loyal vassal state to wake up and smell the coffee, to wake up and realize that the world is changed and that no good can come of us pretending that we are still the Roman Empire that can dispatch legions to every part of the world and impose our will. We cannot, and it has been amply proven that we cannot. Now, the point about a client state that gets out of control is the reality we're now facing here. Of course, in the medium term, the United States can impose its will on Israel. A significant number of Israel's citizens are in fact American citizens, although many of them have left. All the money and all the weapons that Israel uses come from the United States, so they have what you called leverage. But in the short term, how do you know Netanyahu's not going to pull a Samson act and bring the whole house down on everybody's head? When your client is not a poodle, but a pit bull terrier, you're in danger yourself. That terrier might savage you, might savage your vital interests before you are able to stop them. That's why it is so profoundly unhealthy that your entire political class seems to be a wholly owned subsidiary of the Israel lobby. And that Israel lobby is not, of course, a Jewish lobby. It's a fundamentalist evangelical Christian Zionist lobby, more than it is a Jewish lobby, and a very large and significant part of America's Jewish community is against Netanyahu and for justice in the conflict we are talking about. But when I see senators almost like robots, almost catatonically walking the American people deeper and deeper into this quagmire you described, I wonder when the American people are going to say enough of this, no further. I mean, even the so-called American First Brigade, turns out they're not America First at all. They're Israel First, even if Israel's interests diverge from the interests of the United States. When I see you passing resolutions in your Congress, virtually nem con, virtually unanimously, making it a crime to boycott Israel, making it a crime to stand up for the Palestinians, to wear certain clothes, to chant certain slogans, to hold up certain placards, the egregious scrapping, trashing of your constitutional freedoms and liberties, all in the interests of a small country of 7 million people on the eastern Mediterranean shores. I mean, America is a great country, a great power, the greatest we've ever seen. Why is it being led by the nose by Benjamin Netanyahu, a man that most people in Israel think should be in jail, never mind being allowed to pull the world into a potentially global catastrophe?
Yeah.
Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, Kol Thapa Arath, Hawad, Wahaloyim La, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. And what I just said in the Lashon Kodash being the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, or in other words, the true biblical Hebrew for holy tongue or language, and what I just said is all glory, honor, and praises abundantly and continuously to our power, Yahweh, the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God, and the name of his only begotten Son, our Savior, our Messiah, our Deliverer, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus Christ, and the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching and pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. To the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3, as well as the rest of the elect, scattered abroad amongst the heathen nations to the four corners of the earth, east, north, south, and west. To you I say, Shalom. This is your brother Ra'aib Tazadakwa coming back at you again, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, with another lesson. Yahweh Razah is going to be edifying and encouraging for you, Akim, and any Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. All right, now you see the featured clip for tonight. George Galloway, Israel has destroyed itself as Yemen, Iran, Lebanon, and I'm going to insert and many more. It's not just them, it's many more. Prepare for war, right? Hey, the whole Arab world, the whole Arab world, that's the way to put it. All the Arab nations are preparing for war, and other nations as well. Okay, Iran is not an Arab nation, although you can kind of technically call them an Arab nation, but they're not Arabs, right? The word Arab goes back to the Hebrew, which means mixed, and predominantly they're Ishmaelites, right? They go back to Ishmael, whereas Iran, they just changed their name from Persia. I think it was not even 100 years ago. I think it was like 1935. They just changed their name from Persia to Iran, but they still know that they're Persia. You know, of course, they're going to know their own history, so they know that they've been known of old times as Persia, and that's the Persia that you read about in the Bible. Okay, the Persians, the biblical Persians, are the Iranians, and they go back to Elam. All right, so both the Ishmaelites, which are Arabs, and the Elamites, all right, are both Shemitic peoples. Go back to the same son of Noah, but nevertheless, they're different nations because multiple nations came from each one of the sons of Noah, right? So George Galloway, Israel has destroyed itself as Yemen, Iran, Lebanon, and many more prepare for war, right? And George Galloway, I always enjoy hearing his insights and his commentary because it's usually he usually makes very good points, and he puts things together, and his perspective is usually sensible and logical. All right, and he usually brings out his commentary is usually always prophetically friendly. In other words, he's going to say something that ties directly into the prophecies. And that's why I like to, for all those reasons, I like to watch him. And he's best when he's being interviewed. He does have his own YouTube channel, and he hosts Moat, mother of all talk shows. But he's best is something about somebody asking him a question, seeking his insight, that really brings the best out of him when it comes to what he's going to say. And so he's best as an interviewee, in my estimation. And you see this is on the page, Danny Haifong. That's the heathen looking, guy to the left there. But yeah, if you want to check out more, you can go check it out. Now, George Galloway, he's a former British MP, which MP stands for Member of Parliament, which is, part of their governing body over there. So he's a former and now once again current, because I just found out that he was elected to his 4th term. He just won the election by a sizable margin at that. I don't know if you want to technically call it a landslide, but maybe some would call it a landslide. But he got elected to his 4th term as a British MP, and I just saw the notification of that, and it was like minutes ago since it was posted. So he just got re-elected to his 4th term as a member of the British Parliament. Very, very knowledgeable guy on geopolitical events. You can see he's been around for a while, and Yeah, he has good insights. And he said a lot. He said a lot. And of course, I'm not going to be able to get into all of that, but I did want to present it to you because it was just so much that he said. I could have stopped it at about the halfway point. I got about a 6-minute clip. I could have got about a 3.5 minute clip, but I wanted to let him go on all the way to the end because he continued to bring out a lot of things. And the one thing that he said that really sealed the deal on me using this clip was he said something along the lines of, he mentioned that the UK, he calls, like I said, this guy, his commentary is extremely prophetically friendly. He called the United Kingdom the loyal vassal of America, right, which is Babylon the Great. And he's correct, but not only the UK, the United Kingdom is one of the 10 horns, all right, that make up the beast and the 10 horns, and the woman riding upon the beast, that is America, Babylon the Great. So we're going to be getting into all of that. We're going to get Revelation, the 13th chapter, jump over to 17th chapter. Then we're going to go to, where are we going to after that? We're going to go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. We're going to go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And I think that's going to be pretty much it. We ain't going to be try to be too greedy. All right, we're already 16 minutes in and we haven't gotten any of those. We have the opening precept, but the main thing I wanted to get from that, I'm going to touch on that real quick before we get into the other precepts. But he said that the United Kingdom was the loyal vassal, and he's correct. The United Kingdom is part of the EU. Well, they left the EU, but they were part of the EU, right? And that's they're still part of NATO, but that makes them part of the 10 horns. They're one of the original EEC members. Okay, Great Britain and Ireland, right? The United Kingdom, they're one of the original founding members of the EEC, later renamed the European Union, which is the 10 horns. So they can call themselves leaving if they want to. It doesn't change prophecy, right? So he mentioned that. He also mentioned that America, he said we, right? Because really it's the U.S.-led West. Again, America is the woman that's riding or sitting upon the beast being, in this time that we're in, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the EU being the 10 horns, right? And he said that we can no longer go on pretending that we are the Roman Empire. Yeah, see, you can't pretend you're the Roman Empire because you're not. No, he wasn't done. He said we can't go on pretending that we're still, I left that word out, telling you what, the Roman Empire, that we're still the Roman, telling you what, that George Galloway understands that that the American Empire, this empire that is led by America and its vassal states, of which one is the United Kingdom, is what? The Roman Empire. He's telling you that he acknowledges that and he understands that and he knows that and he says that, and Danny just goes right along with it because it's the truth, man. We can't go on pretending that we're still the Roman Empire, meaning at the very least we were the Roman Empire. But no, he's not saying that America, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the EU are no longer still the Roman Empire. He's not saying that that they were and now they're not. He's saying that they can't continue to go on and say that they're still the Roman Empire that's able to exert its will and project its power like it has in times gone past. What he's saying is that, yes, we're still the Roman Empire, but we're diminished now. We can no longer go on doing the things that we used to do. We can no longer go on exerting the power and projecting the power that we used to project. We're long in the tooth. And I believe I've heard him say this. We're at the decline. This is an empire in decline. And so that's what he's saying. And in doing so, again, a lot of prophecy, man. He's acknowledging that this current world system led by America and the U.S.-led West is the Roman Empire, and it's in decline. No longer able to do the things that it used to do. And so he mentioned that, and then he also got into how America is being, although America has the ability to exert a lot of will and influence over Israel, It's actually how it's actually playing out is the other way around. And he used the metaphor of the tail wagging the dog, and he used the metaphor of instead of it being a poodle, it's a pit bull terrier, right? Your lap dog being a poodle, it's a pit bull terrier. So, and that's again also highly prophetic, which gets us into the opening precept passage here in Jeremiah the 49th chapter. And I read a lot of this, right? And it's all very good, but I want to get into that revelation. The main thing that brought me here, I started at verse 12 because I'm greedy. Not because it is directly applicable to the lesson, but that's not. I just wanted to get just this one precept down here in verse 20, right? But then when I came, I'm looking for a place to start, and this was, I had to get it all, okay? So here, because he's talking about how America is being led, how the politicians, you got the Israeli lobby in D.C., the politicians are catatonically just going along with whatever Israel says, and that's Jeremiah. And then he goes on to how, wait a minute, next thing you know, Benjamin Netanyahu could just pull the whole, America, Babylon the Great, the NATO and the EU and everybody else along with him into a worldwide catastrophe. What worldwide catastrophe is he talking about? Well, I'm gonna give it to you in his words with his accent to the best of my ability. All right, the worldwide catastrophe that he's talking about is thermonuclear war. I know it wasn't that great. I'm a little out of practice. I haven't heard him say it in a while, but you know what I mean. Thermonuclear war, man. All right, let me just say it to you straight. Thermonuclear war. That's what he's talking about, and that's how he says it. All right, I've heard him talk about it and mention that on multiple occasions. Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh, and as we know, straight to the point. When you come here, start at verse 8, but we're going to get straight to the point. This is the Heavenly Father speaking. He says what? You can see that. Okay, the Heavenly Father Yahweh speaking. You call him God. His name is Yahweh. It means he is, he exists, or he to be. Declaring the end from the beginning. He's telling you what he does. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So his counsel shall stand. Yeah, right? So we come here and it says, therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that we just found out what? Shall stand. And it isn't going to be changed. Okay, and he's going to do what? All his pleasure. We just read that. That he have taken against Edom. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. All whose lineage, heritage, and bloodline through their fathers goes back to Esau. They are Edomites. Typically, they look like so-called white people, but not always. That's why I say, generally speaking, the so-called white people, or the so-called white man, generally speaking, that is the normal default physical characteristics and appearance of the Edomites, according to Genesis 25 and 25. And if you have understanding and can receive it, also Genesis, the 4th chapter as well. All right, because that's the mark that was put on Cain. He was stripped of his melanin, right? So if you have the understanding, that is the normal default physical characteristics of the Edomites. Genesis 25 and 25 makes it plain, right? But through genetic mixing, some of them look like the other nations, some of them have some melanin, and then you have some so-called white people that actually do not go back to Esau at all. So they're not Edomites. They're whoever their forefathers are. Even you have some Israelites that look like that, again, through and due to genetic mixing. However, bloodlines are always pure, and bloodlines cannot be mixed. All right, bloodlines are always pure. Bloodlines are passed down through the father, and the mother has nothing to do with bloodlines. She only impacts genetics, which determines what you look like. You can mix genetics all day long. Obviously, that's why children that have two totally different looking parents come out looking like something in between. That's what you call genetic mixing. But what about the bloodline? 100% the father. Mother has nothing to do with that. Two totally separate things. People don't understand that, so they're confused. All right? So that's why we say the so-called white man, generally speaking. That's Edom. And his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. All right? New group of people, right? We got Edom, we got Teman. No, same group of people, man. Okay, let me just show you that briefly. Same group of people. The Heavenly Father doesn't like to refer to things with the same names or terms all the time. He likes to use different names and terms. And part of the reason is to put stumbling blocks in front of those that don't have the understanding, so that they don't get the understanding. Okay, but you got Taman right here, right? Okay, you see, son of Eliphaz, grandson of Esau, one of the dukes of Edom, right? Okay, so this is talking about, the region occupied by the descendants of one, okay, talking about Taman, located east of Idumea, right? So this is also still talking about Idumea, by the way, is the Greek way of saying Esau, Edom. Still talking about the same people, Edom. Surely the least of the flock, what flock? The flock being referred to here is Edom. And what about him? The least of the flock. Well, who's the least of the flock? Didn't you hear George Galloway? He said, how you going to have this? I don't remember the exact particulars, but you got this nation of 7 million people that's about to bring the whole world to the brink of what? Thermonuclear war, right? Okay, the whole world coming to the brink of thermonuclear war because of this nation of 7 million people, right? And that's one of the ways they're the least of the flock. All these other nations, you got the Swedes, Sweden, you got the Netherlands. Even those are two of the smallest nations of Edomites, right? But they have more than 7 million people. You look up the population of Israel, and it's going to tell you like 8, up almost 9 million, or maybe just a little over 9 million. Well, George says that there are only 7 million. And I would reckon that he knows what he's talking about, because again, that guy is pretty knowledgeable and he's been around for quite a while, and he's in the know. He's part of the British Parliament, right? So I don't put it past him to inflate the numbers a little bit to make Israel, the nation state of Israel, seem a little bit more significant than it is. But even if it was the 9 million, it still doesn't change anything. And some of them over there are not going to be Israelis anyway, right? But I'm inclined to believe George's number. But that's one of the ways they're the least of the flock as far as numbers are concerned. But they're also least of the flock as far as how long they've been in the land that they control. It's not their land, right? How long they've been in the land that they control. All these other Edomite tribes, all these other tribes of Esau, Edom, have been in their lands. They've conquered their lands and raped and robbed and pillaged their lands long ago. Most of them hundreds of years ago, right? And here it is, the Israelis, the lead tribe of Esau, Edom, the Amalekites, right? Amalek, the descendants of Amalek, okay, the grandson of Esau. Well, they've only been in there since, they've only had legal, well, you got to put legal in quotations, right? Because it's actually, everything about it is illegal, right? But quote unquote legally since 1948. See, so that's another way they're the least of the flock. So this is talking about the Israelis over there in the land of Israel, claiming to be us, but everybody should know by this point that they are actually Edomites, and to be more specific, they are the least of Esau, Edom, and to be more specific, that would make them the lead tribe, which is Amalek. Okay, they're the Amalekites, all right, the top tribe of Esau, Edom. Okay. Surely the least of the flock, the Israelis, who are the biblical Amalekites, shall draw them out. It's going to draw out the whole rest of the nation of Esau, Edom, right? Starting first and foremost with America, Babylon the Great. And who's going to come with them? The U.S.-led West, right? All Edom's going to get drawn out. But America, Babylon the Great, first and foremost. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Right, because this is going to end in the destruction of both America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel, where those Israelis, those Amalekites are at. It's going to lead to the destruction of America completely and totally, and also the land of Israel. But the difference is the land of Israel will be built back up, because pursuant to prophecy, my Father is going to return us to our land. But it's going to be purged and swept with the besom of destruction, which is the thermonuclear destruction. You see? And also everywhere where Esau, Edom is at is going to be touched by this thermonuclear destruction. Right? But the other places where they rule out of, like Europe, Australia, Gog and Magog, those places won't be completely destroyed, but they will take heavy thermonuclear damage. All right. So, having said that, because he mentioned America being the revived, well, he didn't say revived, but he just said we can't go on pretending that we're still the Roman Empire that can project our power like we did in days gone by, right? So let's go to Revelation, the 13th chapter. We just broke down verses 1 and 2 in case anybody's interested. We're gonna touch on it here, but in case anybody's interested in getting a breakdown, a deeper breakdown, because I'm gonna run through it a little bit briefly. You got, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, parts 1 and 2, and we broke down verses 1 and 2 of Revelation 13 and that as well. So if you want more on that, you can check that out. But we're gonna break down 1 and 2 briefly, and then get into 3 and 4 before we go to Revelation 17 and then go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. Yahweh, this is going to be edifying. If it gets too much or too long or too deep into the lesson, then I may wind up breaking it up into 2 parts. All right. So Revelation 13 and 1. All right. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, again, the 7 heads. Now this beast represents the kingdom/empires of Esau, Edom, spanning thousands of years, right? Okay, millennia. The 7 heads starts with the Greeks, goes to the Romans, Germana Major, Germana Minor, the French, the Spanish, and the British. And the 10 horns is, well, you had 10 main vassal states back during the ancient Roman Empire. And today, just like George Galloway said, referring to the United Kingdom, the loyal vassal of America, which is Rome 2.0. Hey, the modern day Rome, the capital city of the modern day revived Roman Empire is America. And that makes America what? Rome 2.0, the capital city of the revived Roman Empire. So the 10 horns today would be the EU. All right, because again, it goes back to the EEC, which was started with 12 nations, but those 12 nations were actually 10, because you have Spain and Portugal, which are 1, and you have Great Britain and Ireland, which are 1. So your 12 drops to 10, and it doesn't matter how many sub-nations or whatever you want to call them, you break up a nation into, it's still just one nation. All right, so that 12 was actually 10, and that's your 10 horns today. Your 10 vassal states, as George Galloway refers to them as. I did a lesson on him saying that probably like a year ago, whatever. He was referring to the EU as the vassal states of America. Like I said, he's very prophetically friendly. And upon his head, and upon his horns, 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Yeah, I went into more detail in those 2 lessons I showed you. So if you want more detail, go check those out. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Right. Okay, because the kingdom/empires of Esau, Edom, in any significance starts off with the Greeks, the Greek Empire. So that's why this beast was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Okay, because how is this beast going to come to an end? The feet represents the end. How are the kingdom/empires of Esau, Edom going to be ended? They're going to be ended by the Russians, right? Gog and Magog, the Medes, the North Country. All of those are prophetic biblical references to Russia, right? And Russia is what? Well, here in Revelation 13, Russia is this bear. And Russia is going to lead a coalition of nations, of great nations, out of the North Country to come against America, Babylon the Great. And it is going to result in the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, completely, totally, and utterly by thermonuclear fire, as well as Israel. Same thing. Difference is Israel will be rebuilt back up and inhabited by the Israelites, as well as the destruction of all Esau, Edom's kingdom, the whole kingdom. Okay, although the other places will not be completely destroyed. They will take heavy damage, but not completely destroyed, as well as ultimately the downfall of all of the kingdoms of all the heathen. See? All right, so that's the reason why this beast which represents the kingdoms and empires of Esau, Edom, spanning thousands of years, has the feet of a bear, because the bear, Russia, is going to bring about the end of this kingdom, which is their end as well, because they're Edomites also. And his mouth is the mouth of a lion. That's Great Britain, the UK, should say the UK. And the dragon, the ancient Roman Empire, gave him his power and his seat and great authority, because what? This is the revived Roman Empire. And I saw one of his heads. Now the pagan Christians will try to take this and make this use this to kind of, they'll try to take this and use this to support their false doctrine of a Antichrist. One man who's the Antichrist or anti-Hamashiach. This one man, yeah, and when he comes on the scene, he's gonna get a deadly wound to his head, and then his deadly wound is gonna be miraculously healed, and everybody's gonna marvel at this one man called the anti-Hamashiach or Antichrist. Okay, wait a minute. People don't think, man. People just, pagan Christianity relies on confusion. It relies on people just going, oh, I don't really understand, but that's what Pastor Porkchop, Bishop Bacon, Prosperity Pimp said. Yeah, that is what they said, but did you think about it? Have you read it yourself? Because I know, I spent decades in it, and I was always confused. I never understood what they were saying when it came to these prophecies, man. I never, because it was garbage. That's why. How are you going to take something that is totally illogical and nonsensical and anti-biblical and try to make it make sense with the scriptures? You can't, right? Let's read this. And I saw, that's all. Stop right there. That's all you need. One of his heads. This is not talking about no one man who is some goddamn Antichrist, man. Because if it is, how many heads does this dude have? And if he's got to have more than one head. All right. So you got this at least two-headed abomination of a man who's going to be wooing the whole world, and everybody's going to be marveling at it. Because it says one of his heads with an S. See, this is stupid, man. Sitting talking about no one man who's the Antichrist or anti-Mashiach. There is no one man. Okay. All right. Even now, are there many anti-Hamashiachs or Christs gone out into the world? Right. Even now. And everyone who denies that Hamashiach, Yahushua, has come in the flesh has the spirit of anti-Hamashiach. Anti-Hamashiach, Antichrist is everybody and anyone and everybody who is against this truth. That is who the anti-Hamashiach or Antichrist is. Everyone who is against this truth. And now there are levels to it. Okay? If you want to step it up a level and say, well, it would apply even to a higher degree. Well, it would apply to a higher degree to those that are against this truth and are Edomites. Well, you want to step it up again? Yes, it would apply to the, let's just go straight to the top, to the highest degree to those that are against this truth, that are Edomites, and that are of the elite of Esau, Edom. And you can step it up again because you have the lesser luminaries, the lower level elites, and then you have the top level elites, you know, those that just outright point blank period worship Satan. All right. And directly delve into left hand side activity. OK, demonic activity directly. And blatantly and just directly and blatantly. It may not be open with it. I was going to say open, but they still keep that somewhat under wraps. But they delve in it directly. All right, they pray to demons, worship Satan and all that, right? And they delve in and utilize demonic power. All right. So that's who anti-Hamashiach would be, and there's a group of elite Edomites. That's who anti-Hamashiach is on the top level. It's most applicable to them. But when you go all the way down, anti-Hamashiach is anyone and everyone who is against this truth, including Israelites against this truth. That's who That's why I say even now are there many anti-Hamashiach gone out into the world. And everyone who denies that Yahushua Mashiach came in the flesh has the spirit. Let me get that precept real quick. Let me see here. I believe this should bring it up. Come on. Yeah, and every spirit that confesses, 1 John 4:3, that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is come in the flesh, Slaka, and every spirit that confesses not that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is come in the flesh is not of the Most High. And how do you confess not that he's come in the flesh? Okay, well, what does it mean to come in the flesh? Well, how did you come in the flesh? Well, let me see. You had a mother and a father, and your mother and your father laid down with your mother, and he, you know, the birds and the bees, right? And 9.5, 10 months later, out came you, right? Same thing with me, right? Same thing with everybody, right? So obviously that's what it means to come in the flesh. So then if you confess not that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is come in the flesh, then the spirit that's on you is not of the Most High. You got the spirit of anti-Mashiach. So in other words, if you don't, that's what it means to come in the flesh. So if you don't believe that that's how you came in the flesh, that's how I came in the flesh, that's how everybody else came in the flesh. So if you don't believe that that applies to Yahweh Shai Mashiach, even though it tells you all throughout the scriptures that it does, even though it tells you in Hebrews the 2nd chapter that he was made in all respects like unto his brethren, which are also men that had flesh and blood, men that had mothers and fathers, and he was made in all respects like them. So that means he had a father and a mother. Joseph was his literal father. If you don't believe that, then the spirit that's on you is not of the Most High. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, anti-Mashiach. You got the spirit of Antichrist, the spirit of anti-Mashiach, which makes you an Antichrist, an anti-Mashiach. Whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. Okay? In order to come in the flesh, you have to have a mother and a father. If you don't have a father, but you have a mother, and somehow your mother was supernaturally impregnated with an angel or just superpower, spiritual power rather, whatever, then you didn't come in the flesh. You came some other kind of way, and you weren't made like your brothers. But see, the scripture tells you he did come in the flesh according to the flesh, and the scripture tells you he was made like unto his brethren in every way. Says it right there in Hebrews the 2nd chapter. See, people don't understand that immaculate conception is actually an immaculate deception, and it's a false doctrine. People don't understand that. Okay, so if you need more understanding on that, a little while ago now, a year and a half, maybe something like that. It shouldn't be too hard to find though. I did a whole 3 or 4 part lesson series going into that deeply. I think it was 4 parts. I did a deep dive into the false virgin birth doctrine. All right, so get more understanding on it if you need it. Back to this, and it's looking like we're going to have a 2-part. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. Okay? Hey, no, this isn't talking about no man. It's talking about the beast up above. And how many heads did this beast have? The beast had 7 heads, right? 7 heads, verse 1, right there in the middle of the verse, and 10 horns. One of those 7 heads was wounded to death. Well, wait a minute. What were those 7 heads again? Yeah, the 7 heads were the German Empire, the Roman Empire, Germania Major, Germania Minor, French, the Spanish, and the British. Okay, so one of those is wounded to death. Meaning what? We went down, and it went down hard. All right? Okay, well, you could say the Greek one went down. Yeah, it did. And you could say all of them went down. Yeah, they did. But something's different about this one. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. So which one of those went down and then it was healed? It's back. Like they say, healed, Which one of those went down and it was healed? All right. The Roman Empire, man. Okay. Just like George Galloway told you, we can't go around pretending that we're still the Roman Empire that can do whatever the hell we want to do. Yes, we're still the Roman Empire, but we can't do whatever the hell we want to do anymore. We're not that strong anymore, right? Which gets into Joel the 3rd chapter and Isaiah the 14th chapter as well, right? Okay, we can't just go around doing whatever we want. We're the Roman Empire in decline. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. That's the Roman Empire. That's the one, the second head. Okay, the Greeks and the Romans, right? And then you had the rest, right? That's the one. The Roman Empire, that head was wounded to death and his deadly wound was healed. That's the time we're in now. Okay? We're living in the revived Roman Empire. And America is Rome 2.0, the capital city of the revived Roman Empire, which this time is worldwide. And all the world wondered after the beast. Okay, everybody's been googly-eyed for America, Babylon the Great, Rome 2.0, right? And Rome 2.0 and the revived Roman Empire. The influence of America, Babylon the Great, is all around this world, heavy. And everybody's been googly-eyed. But of course, we're at the time, like we read over in Jeremiah 49 and 20, an ambassador sent amongst the heathen, rise ye, come up against her in battle. Behold, I will make thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Well, the Most High has made good on that. So everybody's no longer googly-eyed against America, googly-eyed for America. Now everybody's coming up against America now, because that's the time that we're in on the prophetic timetable. Okay, verse 4, and we're going to wrap it up here, and we'll just have to get a second part. Okay, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, the ancient Roman Empire, right? Okay, because what are we doing? Well, this is Rome 2.0, right? So America, Babylon the Great, and this world empire is continuing on in the ways of Rome. So as people worship the vibration and the frequency and the system that America pushes out, they're worshiping the beast, they're worshiping the dragon, right? But some of the easy ways you can see that are with the Roman numerals. Okay. What's another way? You got Latin all over the place. Okay, even on the back of your dollar bill. Okay, you wanna learn about plants? Well, they're named in Latin. You wanna go to medical school? Well, all the body parts are in Latin. You wanna study law? You got to learn Latin. The terms are in Latin, right? And it goes so much. It goes so much deeper. These are just things off the top of my head that are easy to see, right? You had two main parties in ancient Rome, the plebeians and the patricians, I believe it is. The plebeians are the equivalent of the modern day Democrats, and then the patricians are the equivalent of the modern day Republicans, right? And it goes on and on and on. So much comes from ancient Rome that it just ain't funny, man. It's like what doesn't tie directly back to ancient Rome? See, so as you now we do what we got to do, but as you just exist in this system, you worship the beast, right? Not we're just we're using the world but not abusing the world. But as those that are outside this truth, just by being in this system and embracing it and going along with it and support, you worship the beast, right? And they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" Right, because after I forget which chapter it is. Is that down in this chapter? I don't think it's this chapter. Right. I want to say it's chapter 9 or 10, but don't quote me on that. But after America, dropped those bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, everybody was looking at America just like what we just read. Who is able to make war with the beast, right? Nobody wanted any part of this man, really. I mean, now, hey, if you back a rat into a corner, that rat's going to fight because it's got no choice. The rat really wants to run away. But if you don't give it the option where, it can run away, it's trapped, it can't run away, well, it's going to fight. And that's the situation that you saw America in. Nobody wanted to go up against America because they saw that might and that power, especially in the wake of the World War II, man. When everybody saw, this whole world saw when they made that fire come down. They're still making fire come down in different ways. They still got all those bombs and everything, of course, but now they even got direct energy weapons. Same thing. Just a more sophisticated or technological way of doing it. Right? So nobody wanted any parts of going up against this beast unless they had no choice. Well, then, all right, I'm a fight, And And sometimes they didn't even do that. Go back to Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And I still remember seeing the reports where the Iraqi soldiers were just laying down their weapons, man. They didn't really want to fight. They called it the shock and awe campaign, right? But now, George Galloway's like, hey, those are days gone by. It isn't like that anymore. We're no longer that Roman Empire. We're the Roman Empire modern day in decline. All right? Which gets us to Joel, the 3rd chapter, in Isaiah 14, which we'll get next time, Lord willing. But, you know, I was going to go to Revelation, the 17th chapter, and we'll also do that next time as well. But, yeah. So, you know, that's all we got time for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pull up here. All right? But, yeah, that was in the past. Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? That's in the past now. That's in the past. Now you got the Houthis that are getting their rocks off at the very thought of going to war directly. We don't want no what do you call it? Slovakia. What do you call it? We don't want no proxy wars. We want to go. We are salivating. We are, our leg is twitching at the thought. Okay, we're getting excited. Right? I mean, if you know what I mean, excited, leg twitching excited at the thought of going to war directly with America. Wait a minute. The Houthis? Yeah, Wait a minute. You mean from like Yemen? Yep. You mean that little tiny country that George Galloway called the poor? He said it's the poorest. I don't know if it's the poorest, but let's just go with one of the poorest. He said the poorest nations in the planet. Yep. The little old nation of Yemen. The Houthis, right? They're twitching their leg in excitement at the thought of directly going to war with America, man. See, so who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? That's come and gone. That's prophecy fulfilled and in the history books now. It isn't like that anymore. Now we're in the time, again, going back to that opening passage, we're in the time of this right here. Okay? Jeremiah 49, 14 and 15. I have heard a rumor, which Obadiah, the first couple of chapters, only one chapter. Obadiah, the first couple of verses says the same thing. So let's get it there. We already read it here. Let's get it there. All right? Obadiah, chapter 1, only one chapter. The vision of Obadiah, meaning the prophecy that was revealed to him. Thus saith Adonai Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh. It should say a message or a report. That's what it's talking about. And an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Right, reads almost exactly as the prophecy that was given to Jeremiah, doesn't it? Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. What do you mean by small? Thou art greatly despised. Everybody hates America, Babylon the Great. And this is the Lord Yahweh's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Before I do, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching, pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth. Adawan Radazah. This lesson was edifying and encouraging to you, Akim, and the Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. Ayashma Yakona. Azanyam Leshamai Shemai. Let him who has ears to hear. Kwam Yasharala, Babakusha, Abad Baba Etha, will call Adawam. Shalom Lahabakariam, Shalom.